Hey guys, um, you know, I, I have to say, it has been a while since I've made a video where I kind of am, I guess more like this. Not myself per se, but as much as that I'll put on YouTube. Um, I, yeah, just to be totally honest. I wanted to make this video to say, well, I think that the four things that I probably have the most knowledge on personally, and in some cases I think for people in general, would be the band Dirty Projectors, um, uh, ball busting videos, Judaism, and I guess my life. And at some point I'll probably make some videos where I kind of well, I don't know if I ever will, but with some of these I'll flesh out my ideas and really find the best way to articulate them. But I just wanted to say that I want to give Dave Lonngstreth more credit than I have in the past in regards to his music that he's made post well really in regards to Swing Low, um, because when it came out I think I didn't know what he meant, to be perfectly honest. I didn't even know, and then in an interview he said, and then it was a total failure in my opinion of what he was going for. I don't think it was a failure. I think that I'm used to listening to his music in the way that I would listen to it, and the new album, or it's not even the new album anymore, but Swing Low needs to be listened to like very lyrically, I guess, and that's sort of like a transition to make, you know. Um, because the lyrics are emotive, I mean, in a this is why I said I'd make it in a different video, but they're emotive in a non-analytical way. They speak to the emotions that happen from the perspective of the person feeling them in real time, which is typical for music, but not typical for Dave's lyrics. Typically he writes, incredibly compelling lyrics, but in a way that, makes, in my opinion, irreducibly true statements about the whatever it is he's talking about. So it's sort of from this stepped back, kind of had a chance to look at it all, and then can say, this is what has occurred. Which has its pros and its cons, because you're not gonna, it's a very different experience to hear that type of music, and that's why a lot of people don't get it. I mean, now I think most people do, but at the time. Um, and you know, it isn't real in the you know, it's a different type of real, you know. There's the real of, you know, like taking the time to really think something through and then make exactly what it is that you're thinking, and he pulls it off, you know, but it's all incredibly calculated, I guess. And that aspect to of it, you know, it doesn't you know, when you have a chance to edit everything, it's, I mean, that's probably not the best metaphor to use, but you know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, I was just listening to this cover of the Socialites, and it's like, I never really, I mean, it took another person's cover of it for me to hear the lyrics of that song, but now I do, and it's like, yeah. Um, yeah, so Dave pulled it off, of course, you know. Now, do I think that that really contributes the most that it could to music? No. But do I understand that Dave is a human being that, you know, after however many years of doing what he did, would, which of course changed, but that he would eventually want to make an album like however everyone else makes an album, you know, yeah, it's perfectly, I forget how I phrased that question, but yes or no. Um, it's perfectly understandable that he would want to do that. So, you know, I don't feel entitled to him creating, you know, what he used to. I'm thankful for everything that he did make, you know, um, in his past days. So yeah, I'll make a video. I'll make videos on that. I this like just articulating this was a lot easier than I thought, and I guess it just speaks to how much I've thought about it on my own, that it isn't so much of a challenge. So that feels pretty exciting. I'll do that because there's a lot more I could say about his other work than about Swing Low. I haven't even listened to the new album. um, but I did get a free bag. Shouts out to, fuck, I don't even remember, the big ass record shop in Austin near the giant Whole Foods. It was my last day there, and I just went in, and it was the day they released it, but they had only released the vinyl. So they were giving out the bags, and the dude gave me a bag, and then he's looking for the CD, and then he's like, oh, the CD isn't released yet, because it was like early release or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, but he was like, yeah, keep the bag. I was like, sweet! And then I drove out to Big Bend. Yeah, that must have been that same day. But where did I sleep? I didn't sleep at Big Bend that night. Oh, I slept at Marfa Lights. That was it. Yeah, I drove to Marfa that day. Fuck. Oh, that was so nice, man. That was the first time I went, and there was so many cars there. And I had a fucking can of, fuck, some cans, you know, chunky thing. There was someone in their car next to me that they just drove up. They were like listening to music and like looking at themselves in the mirror. Or maybe applying some makeup or something. And then I think they left or they got out of their car. And I was just waiting because I had to like, I was like, he's still sleeping. I maybe was still keeping my sleeping bag in the trunk, or I just had to do something where I didn't want to make it look like I was staying there. Oh, that was it. So at Marfa Lights, at the Marfa Lights viewing center, um, there's parking for the, so basically in Marfa, Texas, there's this there's basically, if you look out at a certain point in the distance, people claim to see like weird lights, sort of like, they say so many different things. They say they like appear and disappear, like they blink. They say they move, they change colors. Um, and there's this big like observatory, like there's this big building which is basically just bathrooms. It's just two bathrooms. It's just a weirdly shaped building. And then, but then there's this like little awning space. I'm describing it really poorly, but it's just like this big cement area, and then there's like those like binocular things that are like, you know, you'd put quarters in, but they're free, and you can look out into the distance. There's like, it's like desert, and then there's like hills back there, and you see them on the hills. Or you allegedly see them on the hills. I never saw them. But anyways, there's parking when you got there, but then if you keep driving, there's like just a stretch of pavement, and people park like, you know, like one car in front of the other, like parallel parked, but it's not so tight ever. And that goes on for a while, and that's where everyone parks that sleeps there, because tons of people sleep there when they're going out to Big Bend, which is what I ended up doing. I didn't. Yeah, I was thinking about it at the time. Yeah. Um. Oh, that just makes me feel so happy. That was so nice. But anyway, so I parked there. I was like, okay, this feels nice, you know. There was the person there. I didn't want them to know I was sleeping. And then I got out. I looked at the lights. I got back in my car. No, I must have seen the other cars when I went to see the lights. Yeah, and I was all cold and shit, and yeah, I probably went back. Yeah, I went back and I put on my jackets. I went back and I moved my car, I think, and then I put on my jackets. But I ate, and then I went back and I stayed there a lot. I stayed there. There's a law in Texas. You can stay at any. What's the rule? It's something like is it a week out every month, or I have no idea what the rule was. Maybe it's 2 nights in a row, or just 24 hours. Any, I don't remember. There's a law that you're allowed to stay at public rest stops there. You're allowed to sleep in your car. But there's a big restriction on it, but I don't think it's so enforced necessarily. Um, I don't know. I never got busted for anything. But I stayed at Marfa Lights a lot after I went to Big Bend, and then I was just going bouncing around between Fort Davis and Alpine and Marfa. Not really Alpine, but just basically. I mean, I would only go to Marfa to sleep at Marfa Lights if I didn't want to sleep at like one of the rest stops around Fort Davis. This was only like 5 days or something. I was doing that. That was really nice, though. It's so pretty out there. Um, then what did I do? Oh, then I. Oh, yeah, no, this was for a while. No, I left. I left Big Bend, and then I was. And then I think I stayed at Marfa Lights that night. Then the next day, I think I, I must have. Yeah, I must have gone to New Mexico the next day. Fuck, I should write this shit down because I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure what happened was I went to I'm getting all confused. somewhere in the bottom corner of New Mexico. I kind of forget where I was that first night. Oh, I have so many fucking stories about that. But anyways, I was there. Then I went up into Weed, New Mexico. If I look at a map, I'd remember where the fuck I was. And then it was snowing and shit. I went to Roswell, and it was just fucking snowing. Oh, and I went to White Sands. That's where I filmed the Danielle Bergoli video. And then I went back. I was just driving back and forth up that road. I was gonna sleep at this, like, it was basically just the side of the highway. It was marked on free campsites, but it was literally just like totally exposed, just the side of the fucking road, where there was just a bunch of cows and shit. Like, that was ridiculous. So I was there in the middle of the day, and then I just left. I ended up driving all the way back to Marfa. Then I went to Fort Davis, and I filmed a bunch of videos there. That's where I really like those videos for some reason. The YouTuber No Intro, Nitro, Outro, Intro, whatever that was. Those videos are filmed there. I was going to the library there. I was like reading about like TEFL shit, and then yeah, and then I went back to New Mexico, but I knew to stay south, that I wouldn't get cold and shit. Yeah, I'll make videos about that sometime. That was nice. That was really nice, actually. Like, I was so much more into that than fucking this. Yeah, anyways, thank you. More to come. And, yeah, peace and blessings. Enjoy your life. Be the man you want to see in the world. Don't listen to hippies. Ride or die. Keep on keeping on. Don't give birth without a condom. And baby, baby, baby.